Welcome back to Herbarium How-Tos. Today we're going to learn how to database specimens. So before we begin databasing, we're going to start at the database cabinet in the processing queue. So we'll go ahead and open up this cabinet. As you can see, there are lots of specimens that need databasing. So we'll go ahead and get started with the specimens on the top. And we'll go ahead and begin. And also remember your proper specimen handling techniques. Always use 2 hands and keep them flat when transporting. When you have your specimens ready, let's head on over to the databasing computer. It's important to note that each specimen is unique. So while we will provide the general formula on how to database, you will encounter some nuances while databasing. For example, some specimens may be very old and use cursive writing that's difficult to read. Some specimens may occur from localities that use different languages. So while you're databasing, you may have to do some investigation, but that's kind of what makes it fun. If you encounter a specimen that is too difficult for you to interpret, then you can put it back in the cabinet from which you got it and put it onto the corrugate that says database problems, and then consult the curator later about the problems that you're encountering. For this demonstration, I'll be databasing this specimen. As you can see, it has a complete label with lots of information. It was recently collected in 2006, so we have good locality information. It's also barcoded, and it has its accession seal. So this one will be pretty straightforward. On the other hand, I've also included this specimen for demonstration. It was collected in 1920, so it has less information, and the handwriting is in cursive, so it may be kind of difficult to interpret. And these are some of the specimens that you'll likely encounter during databasing. So prior to databasing, it's very important that we pause syncing on the drop box. So down in the bottom right corner, you'll see a little open box symbol, and we'll click on that. And we will resume syncing, so that way it updates the file from whoever databased last time. So we resume syncing, and then we get a nice little check mark on our file here. It says it's ready to go. So before I start making changes in the database, I'm gonna pause that syncing again. So I pause syncing, and then I can open the document. So we're looking at data entry for 2021, and we open that. Then I would click on new specimen data entry, and I would click on the arrow with the little orange star. That's the newest one. And then I could begin databasing. When you're databasing, make sure to consult this binder, the SIU Herbarium Organization and Database Information Binder. In here, you can see the preferred formats for data entry. It's really important to follow these methods. That way everything is consistent and universal across the entire database. Everyone's doing it the same way, and this is really important for later on processes. So let's go ahead and look at our fields here. So first, again, we scan the SIU barcode. Then we'll add the accession number from the specimen, the family. If the family is not listed on the specimen, we can do a little bit of investigation using the WorldFlora online. And here you could just type in the genus name. For this specimen, it was Elemus. Just hit enter. And we can see that it's in the family Poaceae. So if it doesn't have the family, it's very easy to find it. Okay, then we add the genus name, species, the collector. Important to note that the preferred format for the collector is last name, comma, and the first name initial. Also your middle name initial if that's included. Then the collection number, then the month, day, and year entered as numbers, country, USA. State unit, so in some areas, state units may be provinces or territories. So that's why that is listed there. We're in the United States, so our state unit is state. Then you can use the drop down arrow to find the state. This one's from Arkansas. County unit, in some areas, there are parishes and not counties, but we have counties here. And then you can type in the county or find it in the drop down. Elevation and feet or meters. Township and section. For this one, again, consult the binder. Make sure that you use the proper format. A equals north or south, B equals east or west. Then we just include the other locality information that's listed on the specimen. So this has a lot of information about the camping area where it was collected, so we make sure to include that. If there was information about the habitat, we would put it here. If there were previous IDs, that information would go here. If you have any notes about problems, like maybe it was hard to read, so you could put somewhat illegible, maybe double check later or something. And then the date that your database is automatically tabulated, and then you'll want to put your name, and then we can move on. This is the other specimen that we've databased today. As you can see, a lot less information on this specimen than the previous one. No township or section, no latitude or longitude, no elevation. This was collected in 1920, so there's just less information at the time. So, but same fields, scan the SIU barcode, add the accession number, and work through this just as we did the last example. For this specimen, it only lists the town that it was collected in, Courtenay, Missouri. And so we put that information here in the other locality and did some investigation about what county that was in. So just do a quick Google search, and we found that Courtenay, Missouri is a community in Jackson County, Missouri. Again, enter your name and then move on to your next database field. When I'm done, I'll save, top left corner, then I'll close the database, and then I'll go back down to the open box icon and sync it and pause. Okay, and now I'll pause syncing. And that's it. When we're finished databasing, it's very, very important that we add DB on the specimen next to the accession seal. That way, when this specimen is reintercalated into the collection, we'll know that it's already been databased. When databasing is complete and you've followed all the prior procedures that we've mentioned, then you're ready to move your newly databased specimen into the next cabinet of the processing queue, and that's to file. So now that these specimens have been databased, they're barcoded, they are ready to be reintercalated back into the collection. So we need to make sure that they go in this cabinet so that they can be refiled. In this cabinet, you'll see that there are cubbies that are labeled ready to refile, and you'll just simply place your specimens in those cubbies, and then they'll be refiled at a later day. With completion of putting your specimen in the to file cabinet, you have successfully databased specimens.